I am your Guru. I will make you enlightened. It's my commitment. Till you become Paramashiva, I won't rest. Don't worry at all. To all my disciples, I give you this as a boon. I'll swallow everything with which you are stuck and liberate you all. The moment you decide, your consciousness is the supreme identity you have. You will not empower your depression, your frustration, deal your problems, whether it is simple headache or depression, or the worst suicidal patterns, or life negativity, only through consciousness. Don't go for any other solution. Don't keep stupid, toxic, life negative struggles inside. Your consciousness has power at this moment to swallow, digest, clean up all negativity and all toxins. Develop a powerful will persistence. That's the most important asset for life. I am not giving you some life positive blah blah. I am giving you the facts of life. I am triggering your consciousness.
Nityanandam everyone, we welcome you back to this. Today is a special celebration of Pongal. Today we all will be having the live darshan and blessings from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in few moments, in few hours. So today we'll get to know about the various contributions done by Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism towards the revival of agricultural-based community, agricultural-based the lifestyle. So today we are going to be discussing the various important aspects of this agricultural-based lifestyle, which is directly given by Paramashiva in the various agamas and which is being revived by Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. As we all know that we are slowly we have been moving from the agricultural-based lifestyle, which is given by Paramashiva in agama. We have gone to a different level of growing our foods into the lab or in various kind of research institutes rather than growing it on the land. So let us look at from the Paramashiva's understanding what Paramashiva gives the directions, the guidance on doing the agriculture. So agriculture is the practice of cultivating plants and grains. Agriculture was the key development in the rise of sedentary human civilization, whereby farming of domesticated species created food surplus that enabled people to live in the cities. Agriculture has been a traditional backbone of many countries' economy, and farming is still by far the most common form of employment in the country. So, as many of us would be aware that even though in the developed country or the many of the developing country, agriculture is still the backbone of the economy of the country, agriculture is a sector which gives the employment with the largest number of people, whether it is India or any other developing country, or even in the developed country, agriculture is the backbone of the economy of that country.
As we are seeing into the more details about agriculture, what was before and what is getting developed now. As we see the modern agriculture, the current industrialized agriculture system promotes the reliance on agrochemicals, both synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, while neglecting to consider their negative effects on the economy of the local communities, human health, and the environment. The traditional way of agriculture, we call it as organical agriculture. Now it become the inorganic agriculture, which is practiced all across the globe in the name of modern agriculture. In the name of getting promoted to get the more outputs, they neglect the side effects which is caused to the environment, human health, and the economy of the local community itself. The modern agronomy, the plant breeding agrochemicals such as pesticides and fertilizers, and the technological development are the major reason for the global warming. This is the factor which is coming across all across the globe. And the depth of aquifers, deforestation, antibiotic resistance, and the growth hormones in the industrial meat production. These all become the side effects of this so-called modern agriculture now, where we moved from the basic. So what is inorganic agriculture? Inorganic farming, most commonly referred to as a non-organic farming. It is a contrasting method of the agriculture to the organic farming. The non-organic farming uses pesticides, chemicals, and synthetic fertilizers to produce products for the human and livestock consumption. Inorganic farming is a growing agriculture by using synthetic products, which is all we know that insecticides, fungicides, herbicides, pesticides, all using this to improve the quality, improve the amount of production in the modern agriculture system. This is called as the inorganic agriculture. So what is the side effect which is causing in this inorganic agriculture? Inorganic agriculture involves impact on various factors, which is it affects the soil, the water, the air, animals, the soil variety, people, plant. At the end, it's affecting the very food itself. Inorganic agriculture contributes a number of larger of environmental issues that causes environmental degradations, including climatic change, deforestation, biodiversity loss, dead zones, genetic engineering, irrigation problems, pollutants, soil degradation, and waste. If you consider that one of the major problem all across the globe where every country is facing now, the recent day is global warming. And so much of climate change which is happening all across the globe. This inorganic agriculture, which is being practiced more than every countries, these become the very reason for the global warming nowadays.
So now we look into some of the myths of inorganic agriculture. So there are various myths that has been propagated to curb the organic agriculture practices and to introduce the various inorganic agricultural practices. There are various lies that has been spread to make people believe the need of inorganic agriculture. We'll look at some of the factors like the widespread use of irrigation, agrochemicals, and the new seeds have largely increased agriculture production. But this model of agricultural growth is flawed because of declining crop yields and massive environmental impacts. According to the recent Food and Agricultural Organizations of the United Nations data, between 1980 and 2020, fertilizer applications has increased by 1,000%, while yields of the rice and maize increased only by 200 and 280%, respectively. And the yield of the pulse remained about the same. Pesticides used increased by 325%, while the rice yield increased by only 30%. So here, when we are looking at the agricultural practices, This data was collected by the United Nations, and the sample data has been collected from the various other countries. So when we are looking at this data, we need to also understand that this is not in the comparison to the organic agriculture as suggested, as given by Paramashiva in the Agama. When we look at these various practices, the historical practices on agriculture by the various country, in that case, when we start comparing that practices with the modern inorganic agriculture practices, when we look at the comparison, the promise that was given for the food production, the growth in the food production has not been met here. When we look at the data, it says that the fertilizer applications has increased by 1000%, but the growth has not increased in that proportion. The growth has increased only by 200 to 280%. The pesticides increase had also gone up to 325%, but it has not given the increase in the rice yield. So when we look at this angle that the fertilizers and the pesticides has helped to grow more products to meet the need of increasing population, it is a complete lie. We have not been able to achieve the target, but it has only helped the multinational companies or the various company which produces the fertilizer and pesticides. We look into other impact by fertilizers and pesticides into the coming slides. According to the National Economic and Development Authority, which is NEDA, 37% of the total water pollution originates from the agricultural practices, which include animal waste and fertilizer and pesticides runoff. A recent analysis by Greenpeace of the groundwater found that the 30% of tested wells had nitrates level above the World Health Organization drinking water safety limit. The greatest risk of nitrate poisoning is considered to be the blue baby syndrome, which affects particularly babies under the 4 months of age. Moreover, anyone drinking from a contaminated well could be vulnerable to the long-term effects of nitrates, such as various types of cancer. So nowadays, if we look at the health situations of the people, we see that a lot of diseases have started spreading, and those various diseases that is happening are rooted into this, are originating because of the side effects of this fertilizer-based agro products. Here, when we look at the data of water pollution, so 37% of the total water pollution is being caused by the agricultural practices. That means the excessive use of fertilizer and pesticides, or rather to say, the use of pesticides and fertilizers to grow the food. The various analysis done by the Greenpeace, it also found that the 30% of the well water or the pond water had the nitrate level above the World Health Organization safety limit, which is also causing the various health issues, specifically into the babies under the age of 4 months. These babies are taking birth with this is called as a blue baby syndrome. Also, drinking the contaminated water is impacting the health of every single person or the people who are using the well water for the drinking, including the diseases like cancers. There are various severe diseases that are also being caused by these practices of inorganic agriculture or the practice of using fertilizers and the pesticides.
As we've seen, this run off of these pesticides and fertilizers. If we get into the studies, it says these pesticides and fertilizers which are applied on the land, it is not consumed directly by the plant. Almost 80% of the fertilizers and the pesticides which is applied on the soils are being to run off by other purposes. It is not being actually used. So what is going on in this? Where it is going? Half of the inorganic nitrogen fertilizers utilized by the plants in the area where it is applied, but some of the other 50% is released into the atmosphere after microorganisms in the soil convert into the nitrous oxide as a gas that contribute to the global warming. In the introduction itself, we have discussed that this inorganic farming creating a major impact for the major factor reason for the global warming. Here is the reason, here is a study behind this whole global warming impact. This nitrogen as a fertilizer used in the field, almost like 50% is not being used by the plants and it is being exposed to the atmosphere, released to the atmosphere by the microorganism activities, and this nitrous oxide being a gas that contribute to the global warming. It also leaches away from the rainfall and the irrigation. When it leaches into the waterways, the organisms that thrive on the nitrogen and other nutrition in the fertilizers grow quickly. As a result, the plants and microorganisms use up the available oxygen in the water, killing of species that really rely on the oxygen. If this nitrogen is getting into the water, it creates more growth of the algae and other plants, other microorganisms in the water. They started consuming the oxygen, and it's on the other hand, it is destroying the animals and the species which is rely on the oxygen. According to the study from the National Health Organization, it says 60% of the land surface across the globe is in the risk factor, especially when it comes to the terms of using fertilizers and the pesticides. 30% of the land is in high risk, which is a report from the same organizations, because of this only factor of this inorganic agriculture, where people believe the myth they're going to increase the production by using of the fertilizers, but in the fact it is not being used. So what are the effects it is causing on the human health? In an attempt to feed people by a more easier and a productive manner, the food has become full of chemicals that are harmful to our health, leading to many of the diseases we are faced with today: the obesity, cancer, heart disease, high blood pressures, and diabetes. If you heard this term packed food, processed food, all these are brought into culture to attempt to give the feed the people the easier and the productive manner. As a running world now, people are not bothering about, or they not taking care of themselves in the, especially they're very concerned about the food. This become the boost for the industries where they sells more and more of plastic foods, and by the term called plastic foods, full of chemicals are that are harmful to our health are imposed into the food, and it causes many diseases nowadays the current world is facing, especially obesity, cancer, and all type of heart diseases, high blood pressure, and diabetes. The scientist reviews carried by the Canadian Association of Physicians for the Environment found that pesticides exposure may contribute to the development of health issues including neurotoxicity, reproductive outcomes, cancers, dermatologic effects, and respiratory problems like asthma. These studies have been published and it is being circulated among the world. But what is the solution now? Where are we leading to? All these are coming across the one word, which is organic agriculture. As we are going to see more and more details about how the Kailasa's contribution to the organic agriculture and the Department of Agriculture from the Sri Kailasa nation is working to unite the nation, promote the organic agriculture all across the globe. So before we moving on to the next segment, we're going to have a short break. Stay tuned.
itself is nothing but your decision to struggle with the same rut. Your decision to struggle with the same rut is time, Kala. Your decision to swallow time.
Nithyananda, everyone, we welcome you back to this special segment on Pongal celebrations. So now we are looking onto the need of having organic farming and agricultural-based lifestyle. So in the few slides before, we discussed about the various side effects and its impact on the health of the human by practice of inorganic farming. So now let us look at the need of why organic farming. So organic farming keeps GMOs out of our food. So GMO, which is genetically modified seeds, which gives us a different food. This food has been found to cause a lot of side effects and the health hazard on the body of the people who consume through this. Organic farming maintains healthy soil. So by practice of organic farming, we also contribute to the maintenance of the healthy soil or to the environment. We do not create any kind of damage to the environment, specifically to the soil. Organics do not inhibit the growth of super strains. Organic farming support pollinators. So through the organic farming, this is one of the greatest benefit of having the organic farming, that it will support the open pollinations of the seeds. Only through the open pollinations will be able to support the farmers to be self-sustainable. Otherwise, they continue to be dependent on the various MNCs to buy the seeds from them, and we continue to buy the various hybrid seeds or the GMO seeds. Organic supports a healthier farm lifestyle and a healthier community. So by the practice of organic farming, we'll keep ourselves away from the various side effects and the various hazardous effect of pesticides and the fertilizers on our body. Organic foods are more nutrient rich. So whenever we consume the organic food or organically grown food, it is more rich in nutrients and the vitamins compared to the food grown onto the fertilizer and pesticides. Organics are typically not monocropped. So whenever we go for organic farming, we always go for multi-cropping, and in that way we continue to get the nutrient rich and the more variety of food. Organic foods are often more flavorful, and it keeps harmful pesticides and herbicides out of our beautiful ocean. So it helps us to keep our environment clean and healthy. So now we look into the Kailasa Department of Food and Agriculture, the various revival steps taken by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, how Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been bringing the traditional practice, or we can say the Hindu organic practices of growing agricultural products. The Department of Agriculture, the governing body for all the agricultural efforts and food-related activities. The department's mission is to ensure all the Sri Kailasa Vasis are fed nutritious, toxin-free, and Vedagmi-compliant meals. Also runs and maintains the organic farms of Sri Kailasa. So here we get to learn about the Department of Agriculture, its mission and vision. It's directly the mission given by Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, which aims to provide a nutritious, toxin-free, and Vedagmi-compliant meal. It also maintains and runs the organic farms of Sri Kailasa all around the world. The Hindu civilization was an example of agricultural-based living. Agriculture has been referred in the Vedas and many other ancient scriptures. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna has identified himself as the tree of Aswatha, which is people tree. This is mentioned in the chapter 10th of and verse number 26. People is a tree which releases oxygen even during the night time also, while other tree releases oxygen during the daytime because of the phenomenon of photosynthesis and carbon dioxide during the night time, which is phenomenon of respirations. But only this is the people tree which also releases oxygen during the night time. It means that the process of photosynthesis and respiration were known to our forefathers. In Atharva Veda, 300 varieties of various trees have been listed. Obviously, the agriculture was known to us since Vedic time. The Krishi Parasar is the first treatise on the agriculture in the whole world. Maharshi Parasar, who is the son of Muni Shakti, was the grandson of Maharshi Vasishtha, the Kulguru of Maharaja Dasharath of Ayodhya. He has also worked on the medicine and wrote another text called Briksha Ayurveda. So here we are giving the details of on the agricultural practices in Sanatana Hindu Dharma. The various Vedas and Agamas, including the Kamic Agama, talks about the detailed process of agriculture and agricultural-based lifestyle. Our ancestors, our rishis, munis, the great siddhas know the complete science of agriculture and its various impact on the human health, how to achieve enlightenment through having the right practices of the food and food-based lifestyle. Here, we are giving one of the reference of Krishi Parasar book, which was written by the Maharshi Parasara. This is the first treatise known to the human society on the agriculture practices. In the Krishi Parasar, he has dealt at the length about the rain forecasting, rain measurement, and the field crops. The unit of rain was defined as adhaka, while tree plantation, its types, raising of nursery, grafting and transplanting have been described in Briksha Ayurveda. Medicinal urges of different plants and its applications as pesticides have also been described by him. Subsequently, Gargamuni dealt with the cultivation practices of the various crops. So here we get to learn about the various practices, various science that was mentioned about the agriculture in this specific book called Krishi Parasar. This Krishi Parasar not only talks about the various types of plantation or agriculture, but it also talks about the rain forecasting, rain measurement, and the variety of field crops. It also gives the detail on the organic fertilizers, the organic pesticides, how to make them and how to use that, which is going to which is very nature friendly and can be produced in the field itself. The farmers do not need to be dependent for the fertilizers or pesticides on the company, and neither it is inorganic. It does not create any damage to the environment. Maharshi Kashyap has also explained agriculture in his Kashyap Krishi Sukti exclusively. Subsequently, Varahamihir explained the technique of rain forecasting at length in his Varaha Samhita. He explained the unit of rain measurement as drona. Those techniques of rain forecasting are applicable even today. Srifla explained Briksha Veda and perfected many techniques. Kautilya in his Arthashastra gave crop yield forecasting method and described agriculture at the basis of business and trade. In the whole world, cultivation of paddy originated from India and went to Brahmadesha, Burma, and Siam, which is Thailand in modern day. From there, it spreads to Vietnam, Java, Sumatra, Bali Island, and to many other countries. So, if you look at the source of agriculture or the science of agriculture, it originated in India, in ancient Hindu India. And from this Hindu India, it went all around the world. Even today, what we know as organic farming in the Western world has source into the Indian agriculture, Indian Hindu practice of organic agriculture. Hindu organic agriculture describes and explains in the length and breadth about the various needs in the agricultural, the science of agriculture, the science of rain, measurement of the rain, or the practices of producing the fertilizers and various other.
Yes, as we've seen multiple reference from how Hinduism being the source center, the source seed for the whole agriculture environment, the civilization of agriculture itself. We have seen how the Vedic traditions, Vedic Agamas and Vedas and Puranas gave the exact reference to how we can do the forecasting of rain, how we can cultivate all the things. Now, being a supreme pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, he is now reviving the whole agriculture-based civilization. His Divine Holiness is reviving the agriculture-based civilizations through the Kailasa's Department of Agriculture with organic traditional farms in several locations across India and encouraging self-sustainable lifestyle for people and across the world, even in the cities and urban areas. Now, let us see a short video clip where Bhagavan talk about what is the benefit of agriculture-based lifestyle.
is not how can it be complete for life and death living? Start looking beyond perception without limiting yourself. Laws of physics does not have ruling power over the universe. Listen, law is different. Law being empowered with the ruling power is different. Laws of the physics may look like ruling in your perceived physical happenings, but they do not have ruling power over the universe. Learn to perceive beyond perception. You will learn the laws of the universe. See, many of the understandings you carry about life. Few days before, somebody was asking, why should we physically work if this whole perception is not complete? I tell you, a farmer, agriculturist who is on the ground working in the mud, preparing the soil, his brain is 100 times more capable of understanding most subtlest truths of life. Most subtlest truths of life than a man who is whole day in the semi-conscious, intellectual, corporate coffee chair. Why I call corporate coffee chair, unless the coffee is fueled, life will not happen when you are in that chair whole day. Like enema tube, we can put another one tube. Input, output. Just like Goshala, if you work physically on the sand, prepare the soil, grow things, most subtle parts of your brain awakens. I think every day, every Adinavasi should have at least 1 or 2 hours, surely more than 1 or 2 hours you light around. In confusion what to do. That 1 or 2 hours spend either in Goshala or doing gardening, agriculture. While you do that, keep your inner space in oneness. Understand? Let your inner space be with Shiva. Body do the agriculture. சைவத்தை வேளாண்மை செய். Let your inner space be Shiva. Body be doing the agriculture. At least 1 or 2 hours. We have enough time. Loitering around, stupidifying around, fooling around, cribbing around, swallowing all the stupid poisons around, and vomiting poisons on others. We have lot of time. Really, I'm telling you. In your own backyard, wherever you are, spend at least an hour physically working. It will bring so much of healing in your being. உணர்வில் சைவமும் உடலால் வேளாண்மையும் சைவ வேளாண்மைத்துவம். Now I tell you, it's really one of the very powerful spiritual practice. Start looking beyond perception. Drill your whole system in your action, reaction, response, responsibility. Start looking beyond perception. You will achieve so much of complete.
Yes. As we see in the wonderful video where Bhagavan said, just being this field of agriculture, doing this agriculture activity is a great spiritual practice. Let us see what Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism said about the agriculture, the context of agriculture as per the Hinduism. We need to understand that agriculture, medicine, in every field, the principle of let me become many and celebrate my existence beautifully manifests. Pure oneness principle is the first vision and amendment. This is the first Satya Sankalpa Paramashivoham made when he manifested this universe. The food should have these three qualities: bringing health and energy, constantly rejuvenating and healing, keeping yourself healthy, and third, rising your whole system for the next level superconscious breakthrough. If you see the modern nowadays, what our medicines become the food. Those days in traditional organic lifestyle of agriculture, right, the food itself is being treated as a medicine. So there was no external medicines for people because it able to have the quality of healing the people continuously. So Agama describes so much about the agriculture and food. It is the great vision for the food industry. In Kailasa, we're going to make all into the reality. The Vedic community, the Hindu Vedic community is an agriculture-based community, as our civilization is agriculture-based civilization all over the India. Please understand, Mahara Sankranti is not something special to Tamil Nadu. It is something special to Tamil Nadu. It is all over the India. They celebrate this Mahara Sankranti. thanking Surya, who is the source of life for agriculture lifestyle, and thanking all the animals supporting agriculture, not just cows and bulls, even goats, and all the animals are respected today. Love and gratitude is shown to them. This is the way we bow down to all the animals. They are helping in the field of agriculture. So, what is the solution for the future is now being as a Hindu agriculture. What this Hindu agriculture going to give the solution for the future, where the global community is facing the global warming and even the food becoming the poison now. So, what is the solution now? So, to keep the planet Earth for the next generation, it is a responsibility towards the next generation. Sri Kailasa and all the organizations, Sarvanipitams, temple, monastic centers, functioning with the spiritual guidance of Sri Kailasa, should do two things for responsibly building the next generation. Is a vision from Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to all the Sri Kailasas all over the world. Grow organic vegetables, food, and make it freely available as much you can. Second, influence, inspire, lobby even country in every society to make the food free, vegetarian and organic on a first come first serve basis. This will save the fast destruction we are causing to the planet Earth. This is a vision from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, where he made just go grow organic vegetable food and make it freely available as much you can. If you see, one of the contributions from the Sri Kailasa is almost 2 billion free meals have been served all across the globe. All are organically cooked. This is a great one of the contributions from the Sri Kailasa, and this is being the solution for the future. This vision from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism now all over the Kailasas, even during the COVID pandemic time, where people are looking for, people are stuck inside and they're not able to go out for the daily needs. Sri Kailasa opened the door for many million peoples to have that daily meal free, the organic food, the vegetarian food, which is being served as a first come first serve. This, Bhavan said, this one action which Sri Kailasa is working on now, and Sri Kailasa's government body is continuously working to uniting all the nations to come to this one statement of Hindu agriculture, which is the very own, very own source of organic agriculture as described in Vedas and Agamas. And this is going to be the solution for the future. So, if you what is major in this inorganic agriculture? We have seen multiple degradations in the global community. One is the global warming. As we know, many side effects. It's not just a global warming, which is not just the Earth atmospheric temperature is rising. It creating more vulnerable effects. As we all know, Antarctica is melting, the sea levels are rising all across the globe, and multiple diseases are coming out from just by this inorganic based food culture where people are eating plastics. So all the moment you put the fertilizers and the pesticides on the plant to grow and give more yield, those plants are directly consuming those nitrogens, the inorganic chemicals into their system to bring the yield. So it is directly sucking all the chemicals into the food. The moment if you are eating the inorganic food, it is not just a food anymore. It is you are directly eating the chemicals. So being exposed to many diseases by this inorganic agriculture, the Kailasa solution being a Hindu agriculture, it is the only solution which going to save the planet from fast degradation which is happening all across the globe. If Sri Kailasa take this responsibility actively and does, we will build a responsible next generation. If you all are already part of Kailasa, take my word as Guruak and start organic agriculture and Goshala. Start growing natural organic food. Devotees have donated a lot of property in so many places. Inspire the government to follow this. Teach the right knowledge about the food. This is the one of the outbreaking step, the initiation which is done by Sri Kailasa all across the globe. Even yeah, Sri Kailasa's government body is working with many government to impose this organic agriculture in every nations. Organic vegetarian food, it's not a joke. It is not even just for health. Understand, it gives you an inner space, physical system, and psychological flow to develop highest psychology. Understand, to develop highest psychology, not only your physical system, even your psychological flow needs to be cooperate. Various components of you need to be integrated to the experience, the state of Sadashiva. So, if you remember one statement which is from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, he said, "What you eat, you become that." So, why there is a need for preparing our body with the right food? This body in this plane we are using now, it is going to be the medium where we're going to manifest the superconscious breakthrough to reach, to experience the ultimate of Paramashiva. So, being very conscious about our body. We should have a organic vegetarian food because either it may be inorganic food or non-vegetarian diet. It's going to affect our very biomemory, which helps us in the growth of our superconscious path, the superconscious flow. So, the being having a right food, organic vegetarian diet is very much needed now, not for a health or not for a good community. It is for your very own superconscious breakthrough that is very much needed now. So, so it is all our responsibilities now. Those who are tuned into multiple social media platforms of this today's special live satsang we're going to have in few hours. So it is our responsibility now to tell the world the importance of organic vegetarian, the sattvic Sadashiva food. It's really our responsibility. Human beings fortunately have reached a level of breakthrough, a level of intelligence where 7 million billions of us are able to feed all of us. Now it is time we take the humanity to the next level. Yes, we are able to feed. The next question is, what are we feeding? Yes, we are successful in keeping the hungry away, but not in the healthy way. As we all know, the global community is working hard to remove the hunger from each and every nation. But yes, we are able to feed, but what are we feeding? Let us look into how we are keeping the hunger away. It is time we enter into the game of equality. What are we eating to keep the hunger away? To keep the hunger away, are we inviting anger, fear, violence, and all the other things and filling the hunger? No. Understand, sometimes to keep the hunger away, things you feed put you literally in danger. What you eat matters to hold the space of Sadashiva. So, it's a request to the every nations across the globe from the Sri Kailasa. In the part is the journey to remove the hunger from the community. We all have to work hard, work, unite beyond the borders to give the right food to the people. So this is few pictures which the organic vegetarian food have been harvested in multiple farms across the multiple Sri Kailasas all across the globe, and it is being freely distributed to the people even during the COVID time. So let us, as we are getting into the Pongal celebration, the Hindu Harvest Festival, which is celebrated across the Hindus all across the globe, let us see a one beautiful oneness capsule. Let us have a glimpse of how the Adi Kailasa celebrates the Pongal festival.
Jai Nithyananda, Jai Jai Nithyananda.
Gangadhara Atmanada Nithyananda.
யோகமும் நீயன நித்தியமும் நீயன
உணர்த்திடும் தேவா என் நித்ய யோகேஷா.
திருத்தினி நான் காணேன் திருந்தினி நான் வாழேன்
பூமியை படைத்த புண்ணிய தேவா.
குரு திருப்பதமே திருப்பதி அல்லவா
குருவில் வந்த பராசக்தி சொல்லவா.
சகலமும் நீயே சரணமும் நீயே
சத்தியம் சொல்லிடும் சத்குரு தேவா.
சங்கடங்கள் தீர்க்கும் சங்கரன் நேசா
நித்யம் ஆனந்தமே நித்ய புருஷா.
அகத்தினில் யமபயம் போக்கிய நேசா
ஜகமெங்கும் ஜெயமே ஜெய் ஜெகதீஷா.
ஓம் ஜெய் நித்யானந்தா ஜெய் ஜெய் நித்யானந்தா
ஆனந்த கந்த நிவாசா நித்யானந்தா.
ஓம் ஜெய் நித்யானந்தா ஜெய் ஜெய் நித்யானந்தா
கங்காதர ஆத்மநாதா நித்யானந்தா.
சின்ன கதை என்று சொல்லி சொல்லியே
எண்ணத்தின் வாசெல்லாம் எரிந்தாய் கிளியே.
உள்வீணை யாவுமே உன்னை கண்டோடுது
பாழாய்ப் போன மனம் பளிங்காக மாறுது.
வாழ்ந்திட எமக்கு நின் தோளை தந்து
பிறர் வாழ்த்திட வைத்திய கோலை தந்தாயே.
ஆனந்த தாயே எமை காக்க வந்தாய்
ஆழி சூழுலகினில் பிணி போக்கி நின்றாய்.
ஆனந்த கந்தத்தில் குடிகொண்டு நீயும்
செய்தாய் அங்கே ஆயிரம் விந்தையே.
ஆனந்த பூரியில் நாங்கள் வசிக்க
இல்லம் தந்தாய் அன்பு தந்தையே.
ஓம் ஜெய் நித்யானந்தா ஜெய் ஜெய் நித்யானந்தா
ஆனந்த கந்த நிவாசா நித்யானந்தா.
ஓம் ஜெய் நித்யானந்தா ஜெய் ஜெய் நித்யானந்தா
கங்காதர ஆத்மநாதா நித்யானந்தா.
பெண்மையின் தீண்டாமை அழித்த தலைவி
உண்மையில் உரிமை அளித்த இறைவி.
மூன்று லோகம் ஆளும் நித்யேஸ்வரி தாயே
மூன்று மகளுக்கும் வளை காப்பிட்டாய்.
மூவர் வணங்கிடும் முக்கண்ணி நீயே
முத்தமிழ் தந்திங்கு கலை காத்திட்டாய்.
உன்னை தழுவ ஏங்கிய என் இதயம் கண்டாய்
மகளுக்கு மடி மீது மலர் தஞ்சம் தந்தாய்.
சின்னத்தையும் செருக்கையும் அழிக்க வந்த
எந்தன் இனிய சிம்ம சொப்பனமே.
ஈடில்லா உந்தன் அன்பிற்கு எந்தன்
உடல் பொருளாவே அனைத்தும் அர்ப்பணமே.
ஓம் ஜெய் நித்யானந்தா ஜெய் ஜெய் நித்யானந்தா
ஆனந்த கந்த நிவா.
Nityanam everyone. So as we are celebrating the Pongal, the Hindu harvest festival, we are looking at the various concepts on the organic agriculture and organic way of living, organic way of lifestyle to experience the ultimate state of Paramashiva. Here in Sanatan Hindu Dharma, everything that we do, everything that we plan is centered on only one thing. All our celebrations, all our lifestyle practices, all our scientific discoveries, our spirituality, everything is centered on only one thing, and that is to experience the ultimate state of Paramashiva. When Paramashiva looks at the agriculture, he only looks at from this angle that how he can make you experience, how he can make all of us experience the state of Paramashiva. From this angle, he has given the various science of agriculture, the science of harvesting the food, not just harvesting the food, but sharing the food with everyone, and what kind of food lifestyle that we should be practicing. In the Hindu scripture called Bhagasastra, he gives the detailed instructions on what kind of food should be cooked, what kind of combinations of the food should be used together in our food practices. What should be our morning breakfast, what should be our lunch, what should be the dinner, how many times we should be eating, how the food should be cooked. Every single detail is given, and all of them are aimed at only one thing, and that is for all of us to have the conscious breakthrough. Paramashiva did not give any of the instructions, any of the sciences which were based on the exploitations of the human being, or to get some amount of money, or to make some business out of it, as we are seeing in the modern day practices. In the modern day practices, food has become one of the biggest industry, biggest profit making industry. Sorry for the technical glitch. So here at the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the Kailasa, the head of the state, Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, has taken the responsibility to revive the Hindu agricultural practices and Hindu organic lifestyle practices as mentioned in the Vedas and Agama by Paramashiva. As part of this, we have discussed the various points on why we should go for Hindu organic agricultural practices, why we should move away from the inorganic way of agricultural practices, how it has been causing the various impacts on the human health, not just on the human health, but it has caused a lot of starvations. It has caused to the global warming, the climate change, the degradation in the soil capacity, the environmental pollutions, and the damage to the ecosystem. So we have discussed all these details in the length and breadth. But before we move to the next segment, we'll have a short break.
Time itself is nothing but your decision to struggle with the same rut. Your decision to struggle with the same rut is time, Kala. Your decision to swallow time is Kala Bhairava. conscious woman or man. Be conscious being. Shrink the time through conscious will persistence. Make the future into present by being ferocious with yourself. I am your Guru. I will make you enlightened. It's my commitment. Till you become Paramashiva, I won't rest. Don't worry at all. To all my disciples, I give you this as a boon. I'll swallow everything with which you are stuck and liberate you all. The moment you decide, your consciousness is the supreme identity you have. You will not empower your depression, your frustration, deal your problems, whether it is simple headache or depression, or the worst suicidal patterns, or life negativity, only through consciousness. Don't go for any other solution. Don't keep stupid, toxic, life negative struggles inside. Your consciousness has power at this moment to swallow, digest.
Nithyanandam, everybody. We welcome each and every one of you for today's celebrations of the Makara Sankranti or the Pongal. We have many VIPs and important guests, dignitaries joining us from all across the globe. We're going to be looking at the various different dignitaries who are joining us, and we'd like to welcome each and every one of them. We have the guest of honor, Mr. Sam Fishman, who is the president of Kailasa Shaman of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We welcome you, and it's an honor for us to have you here for today's program. We have Honorable Jalanath Khanal, who's the former Prime Minister of Nepal. It's our pleasure and honor to have you for today's program. We have Mr. Giller Michael Anderson, who is the head of the state of Yuhalai People's Republic from Australia. We welcome you for today's program, and it's an honor for us to have you here today.
The next guest of honor we have with us is Her Royal Highness Princess Palesa Kambule, the Kingdom of the Lamini Phalane, Banzeni, Mysela, South Africa. It's our honor to have you. Welcome. The next guest of honor we have is Honorary Mayor Ricardo Quinones, the Mayor of the City of Guatemala. Guatemala, we welcome you, sir. Next, we have His Worship Robert Mariano, the Honorable Mayor of Dangriga Town, Belize. We welcome you.
The next guest of honor, we have the Honorable Mayor Sandra Hermine Roya, City of Rosso in Dominica. We welcome you with our love and respects. Next, we have His Excellency Honorable Mr. Norman Gilbert, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education and Human Resources Development, Religious Affairs and Information in Grenada. We welcome you with our love and respects. Next, we have Professor Dr. Talal Jaber, lawyer, lecturer in the American University of Beirut, La Sagesse University, visiting professor of the University of Montpellier in France. From Lebanon, we welcome you with our love and respects.
We also have Dr. Lawrence Conla Braulple, the Special Envoy and Advisor to the President of the Republic of Liberia. It's an honor to have you today, and we welcome you for today's event. We have Honorable Cooper W., the Minister of Post and Telecommunication from the Republic of Liberia. We welcome you for today's event and program. We have Honorable Alton Vanny Kesele, who's the Deputy Prime Minister of Planning, Research and Development and the Ministry of Education from the Republic of Liberia. We'd welcome you and invite. It's an honor for us to have you today for today's program.
The next esteemed guest we have with us is Mr. Kedir Aliye, the Head of Domestic and International Relations, Dire Dawa City, Ethiopia. We welcome you. Next, we have Mr. Francis Flores, the Administrator of Dangriga Town, Belize. We welcome you, Honorable Sir. Next, we have Mr. Akilan Manoharan Ganesan, the leader of Democratic People's Front, Sri Lanka. We welcome you.
Our next guest of honor is Mr. Kimo Conte, private consultant in Gambia. We welcome you with our love and respects. We have Mr. Joan Subotic, Officer of International Affairs, City of Hycernovi in Montenegro. We welcome you with our love and respects. Next guest of honor is Mr. Arnold Lule Sikiwano, partner in the Nguru Mutebi Advocates in the Republic of Uganda. We welcome you with our love and respects.
The next guest is we have on the Governor, Henaro Polai, the Governor of Melek Kiok State from the Republic of Palau. We welcome you for today's program. Next guest that we have is Honorable Isaac Endo, who is the Deputy Prime Minister for Youth Development, Ministry of Youth and Sports from the Republic of Liberia. We welcome you for today's event. Next guest we have is Mr. T. Titus Charlie, who's the Deputy Chief of Staff of Operations and Chairman of the National Lottery Authority, Office of the Vice President from Republic of Liberia. We welcome you for today's program. Next, we have Mr. Sami Ibrahim, who is the CEO and co-founder of Pacific's Gateway from the Republic of Palau. We welcome you for today's event and program.
The next guest of honor we have with us is Mr. Eduardo Sinclair Nelson Griffiths, the project planner and coordinator, Bocas del Toro Municipality, Republic of Panama. We welcome you. The next respected delegate we have is Mr. Richmond Yaw Yibo, the Public Relation Officer, City of Cape Coast, Ghana. We welcome you. The next esteemed delegate we have is Ms. Singh Wochhun, the Vice President of the National Commercial Arbitration Center of the Kingdom of Cambodia. We welcome you.
Our next guest of honor is Mr. Kofi Sawyer, the Commonwealth Secretariat, a political officer in Africa in the United Kingdom. We welcome you with our love and respects. Next, we have Dr. Surendra Bhandari, constitutional lawyer, author from Nepal. We welcome you with our love and respects. Next, we have Mr. Vitor Mwanja, representative of the Buganda Royal Institute, Kingdom of Buganda, from the Republic of Uganda. We welcome you with our love and respects.
Next, we have His Honorable Omar Diaz, who is the Assistant Mayor of the city of Guatemala. We welcome you for today's event. Next, we have Mrs. Ruth Gonzalez, who is the Executive Secretary of the city of Guatemala, Zone 6 from Guatemala. It's an honor to have you here today, and we welcome you for today's program. We have Mr. Melvin Mukela from Livingstone City Public Relations Manager from the Republic of Gambia. We welcome you for today's event. We have the Right Reverend Dr. Joseph P. Vumve, the Bishop of the Lutheran Church of Malawi. We welcome you for today's event.
The next guest of honor is Father Brian McQueenie, the Director, Office of Interreligious Relations, United States of America. We welcome you. The next guest of honor we have with us is Mr. Maulana Rizwan Rizvi, Imam, resident scholar at Masjid-e-Ali, New Jersey, United States. We welcome you. The next guest of honor is Sister Hemalata Sanghi, the spiritual head of the Brahma Kumaris Raja Yoga Center, Trinidad and Tobago and Caribbean. We welcome you. The next esteemed guest is Dr. Vanita Murli Kumar, the Dean of Sai Sairam Ayurveda Medical College, Chennai, the former President of Central Council of Indian Medicine, New Delhi, writer, teacher, and active participant of TV shows for propagation of Hindu medicines, India. We welcome you.
Next, we have Mr. Sundara Rajacholan, political analyst, Hindu thinker from India. We welcome you with our love and respects. Next, we have Induvan, Hindu writer, India, Singapore. We welcome you with our love and respects. Next guest of honor is Dr. Nitya Shivasri Govindaraja Shastrigal from Shailapuri, Sri Sadguru Pitam, Pitadipati, from the training village of priests in Agamas from India. We welcome you with our love and respects.
The next guest of honor we have is Sri Narasimhan Iyengar. He is a Hindi activist working on the field of temple and Sampradayas protection in India. We welcome you for today's event and program. We have Ms. Shefali Vaidya, who's an independent writer, newspaper columnist, and the media personality from India. We welcome you for today's event. And we also have Mr. Ragraj Pandey, journalist, media personality, and actor from India. We welcome you for today's event and program. We have Mrs. Radha Thevar, who's an RSS worker and Dalit activist from India. We welcome you for today's event and program.
The next guest of honor we have with us today is Sri Deepan Mitra, the President of the World Hindu Federation, Bangladesh Chapter, Bangladesh. We welcome you. The next guest of honor we have is Ms. Alka Vineet Bharadwaj, the Radha Krishna Temple, Apex, North Carolina, USA. We welcome you. Next we have the Honorable Ms. Carmen Munoz, the Director of International Relations, Municipality of Santiago de los Caballero, Dominican Republic. We welcome you.
The next guest of honor is Srinivas Bhatta, priest, founder of the Nitya Vibhuti, New Jersey, in the United States. We welcome you with our love and respects. Next, we have Professor Emeritus Ramesh Deosaran, former independent senator, renowned scholar in criminology and social sciences from Trinidad and Tobago. We welcome you with our love and respects.
Next, we have Mr.